Mic check 1 2 1 2. It's the Y2K Collector, and it's time for the December pickups full recap. Let's go. First game that I picked up was this copy of Mega Man 3 for the Game Boy. Next pickup was Pokemon Red for the original Game Boy. Then we had this copy of Mega Man and Bass for the Game Boy Advanced. Then we had this copy of Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 for the PlayStation Vita. Then we had this copy of Nano Assault for the Nintendo 3DS. Great game, by the way. Next up, we had this copy of Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories for the PSP. And then we had this copy of Viewtiful Joe Double Trouble for the Nintendo DS. Then we had some old school retro pickups, including this copy of Bart Simpson's Bart vs. the Space Mutants on the original NES complete in box. Then we found this gem, Section Z for the NES. Then we found this guy, so the McDonald's Treasureland Adventure on the Sega Genesis. We had this copy of G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero come in for the NES. We had Grandia 2. This was a add back to the collection. This was one that was in the collection, added it back to the collection for the Dreamcast. Then going to more modern consoles, we picked up a copy of Stellar Blade for the PlayStation 5. Finally got it. Haven't had a chance to open it yet. Picked up Okami HD on the PlayStation 4. Then going back to 7th gen, we picked up a copy of Ninja Blade on the 360. And then got in this copy of Way of the Samurai 3 for the 360. Sticking with Xbox, we had a lot of Xbox pickups, so let's go through them. Ninja Gaiden Black, complete in box for the original Xbox. Otogi 2 for the original Xbox. Otogi for the original Xbox. Another great Xbox game there. Some really cool hack and slashers. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on the original Xbox. Phantom Dust. Metal Slug 3. The original Ninja Gaiden. And Beatdown on the original Xbox. So some really cool original Xbox pickups for sure, as well as some pretty dope NES and Xbox 360 stuff. We had one GameCube game come in, and that was Mario Kart Double Dash on the GameCube. And then we had a bunch of PlayStation 2 stuff, so let's go through that. We had Castle of Shikigami. I'm sorry, what am I saying? We had Musashi, rather, for the PlayStation 2. Castle of Shikigami 2. Now this is time for Castle of Shikigami 2. Really cool shoot 'em up. We had The Bouncer on the PlayStation 2. Raw Danger. Very, very cool game. Glad to add that one. Radiata Stories. Sylphied. Silent Hill 4, The Room. Silent Hill Shattered Memories. And Rule of Rose. So those were the PlayStation 2 pickups that came in. Really good stuff there. And then we had some PlayStation 3 stuff that I recently snagged. So first is this copy of Deadpool for the PlayStation 3. Blitz the League 2 on the PlayStation 3. And then we had some really cool hardware that came in during the month of December, but I'm going to talk about a couple more games here before we get into that. We had some really cool Game Gear games come in. So Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on the Game Gear. George Foreman KO on the Game Gear. Pretty cool game here. We had Sonic Triple Trouble. GP Rider. And then we had NBA Jam. So some pretty cool Game Gear games that came in December. And then I was totally stoked with the hardware that came in during the month of December. So picked up a Game Gear from the thrift store. Not a bad pickup. I will have to replace the capacitors on this, but I have some plans for what I'm going to do with this Game Gear. I may actually just update the entire screen. I'm not sure if I'm going to update the entire screen or just keep it like OEM. I like a lot of my consoles just original, just for that nostalgia factor. I know a more brighter screen and everything would be better, but I'm going to see how much I can get out of an original screen. So we'll see. So this was a great hardware pickup. Also another cool handheld that we got, an AGS 001. I already had an AGS 101, but this one was just so clean. The original shell, super clean. Look at that back. This was in like new condition. Couldn't pass it up. And then also a Nintendo Wii with the GameCube backwards compatibility. Very clean on this one here. So that was a really great pickup. And then probably the crown jewel of all pickups for this month. Even this one I'm even more stoked with than Rule of Rose. As great as the Rule of Rose game is, this is my favorite pickup of all. The Sega CDX that I picked up in a trade. So just a really, really sick month. This has probably been my best December yet. I don't think I've picked up as many heavy hitting games and as many just grail items as I did this month. I got to check a lot of things off. The best part about this month was that I want to say 70 to 75% of everything that was picked up here was all done through trades. There were some things that I picked up at GameStop, like the Blitz games, like Blitz and Deadpool. Pokemon I found at GameStop. Nano Assault was a GameStop pickup. So there were a few GameStop pickups, but the majority of the PlayStation 2 stuff was all trades. The Way of the Samurai, a lot of the GameStop stuff was either done during like a promotion. I had coupons that I was able to use, discount points. I also traded in some stuff to GameStop as well. Just games that I couldn't get off at other locations. Like there were some games that I had that the mom and pop shops felt might have been a little bit too scratched, but they were okay. Like GameStop accepted them. So I went ahead and just traded them to GameStop and used some of that credit towards some of the pickups that I got there. Like I said, I had some points that I was able to use towards those pickups. So really, really stoked about that. This is the last day of the year. Like I cannot believe that this year is finished already. This year kind of just flew by. It's just crazy how fast we got through 2024. And we recently surpassed 6,000 subscribers. Shout out to the Y2K crew, because we literally did that in like a month. I think when we started December off, we were at 5,300 subscribers, and like we really racked it up in this month. You guys have shown a ton of just support and love. I appreciate all the positive comments. I appreciate the haters too. Everybody everybody's a psychologist these days. Like everybody assumes like, oh, this is a mental disorder. And, I don't know. It's funny. People will think that it's okay to download like 100 games and pay like a bunch of money, but then you're sick if you collect physical games. It's all weird stuff going on these days. Everybody's judging everybody. My biggest message in 2025 is do you. Do what makes you happy, right? Don't try to convince anyone of anything else. If you watch my videos and you see that I have physical video games that you like, and you're like, man, I never knew that game was out there, I want to go find it, that's okay. If you see a game on my channel and you're like, man, I didn't know that game was out, but I'm going to go emulate it, I don't feel like spending that money, great. Do you. Do what makes you happy. Stop trying to be a psychologist. Stop trying to psychoanalyze everyone and their spending habits. Stop trying to backseat coach people on video games, man. This is a hobby. It's meant to be fun. Um, the only thing that I would say to like my subscribers is be responsible, right? Like be responsible. Know your limits. Know when, know how much you can and can't spend on something. Don't put yourself into debt over video games, and just be smart about it. There's a lot of ways, even today in 2024, that you can build an amazing video game collection without breaking the bank. One of the ways that you can do it is through something called sweat equity, time. When you put in enough time, if you're out there hunting enough, you can do this on the cheap. Obviously, that's, you're spending in another area because you're spending time, and time is something you can't get back. Money you can get back, time you can't get back. However, if you enjoy the time that you spend hunting for video games, well, then that's time well spent. And if it's something that you can do with a friend, if it's something you can do with a family member, and if you can incorporate other things into your video game hunting that makes it like a fun adventure for you each time you go out, then there's really no loss to you in the long run. But that's all subjective. Only you know what your time is worth. Only you know what you would rather be doing with your time. Only you know what you'd be rather doing with your money. Don't let anyone anywhere tell you outside of your financial advisor, right? If unless it's somebody who's like a certified financial advisor, if it's your loved ones, if it's your husband, your wife, your kids, if it's a loved one, a family member, or a friend, talk to those people. Talk to the ones that are around you. Talk to those that love you. Talk to those that know you. Get advice and talk to them. Do not get it from strangers on YouTube, including me, right? I'm just showing you the things that I love. I'm sharing with you a hobby that I thoroughly enjoy. And I'm going to continue to collect into 2025. So it's been an amazing year. I can't say thank you enough. Like I said, we passed 6K subs, and we're going to keep this thing going in 2025. I'm really excited about 2025 because 2025, I'm going to be kind of leaving a lot of the retro behind. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to pick up retro games when I can find them. But 2025 is going to be more so about current gen. So PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch, when the Switch 2 comes out. We're going to be looking at, the games for that, possibly PlayStation 4 stuff. And I think that's going to be exciting to a different audience that's more into the more modern stuff than retro. But either way, you're going to get to come along with me for the journey. I may drop one more like edited recap video this afternoon because it's been such a crazy year that, I just want to do a little recap for the Y2K crew. But thank you to everyone who's been subscribing. Thank you to everyone who's been commenting. We have a great community. There's a lot of positivity in the comment section. And you guys do a good job of just, ignoring the haters, ignoring the negative comments. And you guys do a great job of just, keeping it fun, because that's what this is about. It's a hobby. It's video games. So with that being said, if I don't hear from you all, if y'all don't hear from me again, Happy New Year. Enjoy the new year. Spend it with the ones you love, with friends and family. Do something fun. Enjoy the time. Relax. Take it easy. Life's short. It's not that serious. And I'll see you guys in 2025. It's the Y2K Collector. Take it easy.